It's now streaming live. Okay, well, we'll just go. Hopefully it is. Hi, guys. If you're out there, Brooke and Laura here. We are testing out something different today. So we're either talking to ourselves or just being ridiculous talking to you. So welcome to Legal Talk Tuesday. Last week, we gave you 6 tips to help gain peace of mind, knowing that your personal financial and health decisions were actually in order. And we're going to continue that conversation today with a few quick tips for starting a conversation with your loved ones about getting their affairs in order as well.
Exactly. So tip number 1 is to plan ahead. Go in with a plan of action. Just a few thoughts on how you might want to approach, the topic, because if you go in just, with no plan in mind, it can get off track really quickly. Also, with planning ahead, you want to think about a few different scenarios that may be good points to bring up, but be flexible based on what is happening in the moment of the day. And, pick your timing. Don't try to start a conversation while you're all talking about turkey or baseball games or something like that. So be flexible, but, keep in mind a couple of different scenarios plan on a couple of different scenarios that might actually pop up. Tip number 2 is to talk about something personal. Don't just jump into a conversation with, "Hey mom, have you set up your powers of attorney yet?" Tell a story to make it more relatable for the people that you want to actually listen. So something like, I was just thinking about my good friend Jan, who had to go to the hospital last week. I told you that she, was worried about having COVID or something like that. And it was such a surprise for her and everyone. So, if whatever it is that is going on, I was, I'll just talk about my MS, for example. It's, it was such a surprise when I had to go to the hospital and maybe relate that to a friend. She could barely see or walk, and they had to take her in the ambulance. And she was telling me that she had to answer all these questions about what she wanted done or not done. And her family, right? Or her, and her family doesn't live nearby. So just kind of relate it to a personal story as opposed to just kind of jumping in. Another thought is, maybe I got freaked out the other day because my neighbor had a seizure at home. I just heard sirens and walked out the front door and saw all the hoopla. It really got me thinking about myself and about you guys, something like that. Because the story is going to let people, get people commenting and talking, and you can softly slip in things like, "It really got me thinking about myself."
Right. Yeah, that's important. And that's a little less aggressive. You also don't want to talk about all the things at once. And so there are so many things that you can talk about when you're talking about end of life planning, but you don't want to overwhelm your loved ones with too many or too much detail. Part of it, you don't know where their head is about it. You don't know their mind space. So you want to bring it up, but you want to be careful in the way that you do that. And you've heard us talk several times. And last week we talked about the documents that are needed and the things to consider for health, long-term care, wills, things like that. So, you maybe can relay some of that information. If you've, you can go back and watch some of the things we've talked about. We have some information on our website. You can actually, come and come at it that way. Also, pick what you're most concerned about. So, for example, the healthcare power of attorney, obviously a lot of people are really concerned about that right now. And so if you have family members who are older, parents, grandparents, focus on that. Just start with that one document. So a healthcare power of attorney is really crucial to discuss and decide while that person is still actually able to make those decisions, because some of these documents require them to be mentally able, have the mental capacity to make some of these decisions. So you want to talk about that early. You also want to keep it really high level. So don't try to talk about too many details of money and health. If you're, in a room full of people, especially, or all your family is there, you don't want to talk about those details. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable when people are private and they don't want to share those details. So, try to keep it really high level using the stories that Laura mentioned kind of as your guide. And there's no need, necessarily to, call your brother out, on how much money he particularly has in a savings account, to mention that your child has a payable on death beneficiary, to yours. You can just explain maybe the benefits if you've educated yourself and just say, "Hey, this is something that I thought you should know," and explain it that way.
And the last tip that we have is to listen. I think that's a good kind of rule of thumb for pretty much every conversation you're going to have. Don't listen to respond. Listen to actually hear. And there's no need to cause huge conflict or fight to start these conversations. Listen to your audience, read the room. At least at the end of the day, you know, you've maybe planted a few seeds that can start to grow in the future, but the more combative you are, the less likely it is that they'll actually buy into, you know, talking and doing something about their estate planning. So listening is a huge thing whenever you're having conversations, whether they're difficult or not. So just to wrap up for today, we hope that this helps you ease into a conversation with your loved ones more easily. We want to mention that, just real quickly, that with school starting back, some and all of the uncertainty that, you know, that everyone's feeling, parents and teachers and things like that, we recognize that teachers especially have health concerns weighing on their minds. And we're offering a free Q&A for teachers this Thursday, July 30th at 6 p.m. to discuss the 4 most important estate planning documents. We'll put the link to that particular Q&A in the comment section here, so that if you're a teacher and you want to join the Q&A, you'll be able to, you know, talk with us and ask questions and hear some pertinent information about estate planning. And we'll also be offering a teacher COVID discount of 20% off of our bundled estate planning services through the end of August. If you're curious about what our pricing is, you can go to our website. It's just MyVirtual.Lawyer, and you can go to the O'Brien and Moore Arkansas page to see what the pricing is on those estate planning packages. But we are offering 20% off through the month of August for our teachers who are concerned about going back to school and being around not just the kids, but other teachers and all that fun stuff. So thanks so much for joining us today, and we'll see you here next Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. for more Legal Talk Tuesday. Thanks so much and have a great day.